guys, but I have like 6 Google accounts and I've had enough. I've just had enough. There's just so many of them.
Ungoogle the Googles.
Oh, there's so many.
We
Hey,
need
we
a
need a new
Trailblazer
folder.
ID account for Google, don't we?
Wait, I have a Trailblazer Google account. Stop it.
No, just for Google. I mean, like you need to Google Trailblazer ID your Googles. So there's one Google.
Right? Right? It's just so much going on. Let me share my screen and then we can get started.
I hit record for that fantastic Google dialogue.
No, you didn't.
Mike.
I did. Merry Christmas.
Biscuits. All right. We're not sharing the screen yet because apparently I don't know how to click the right buttons.
Hey, would you buzz off? That's awesome, Mike.
All right. Can everybody see our slide?
Yes.
All right. Excellent. So, hi everybody. Good afternoon. What's today? Today's Friday, December 18th, and we have a lot of people online. I'm excited to see everybody. It's just about 5 after 1, so we're gonna get started. This is MVP Office Hours, hosted by me, Joy Shutters Helbing, and Dale Ziegler and Squire Kirchner, and our Twitter handles are on the slide. You can follow us there. You can also get more information about MVP Office Hours at mvpofficehours.info, and you can always register there for our next meeting. On the right side of the screen, we have some events listed, all events by Salesforce. There's a link, the customer success calendar, Trailhead events and webinars calendar, and let's see, upcoming Dreaming events is wrapping up now. Dream 2 Trailblazer experience, right? Dream TX is happening now. I think I just got a thing that something went live. A musical experience just went live about minutes ago, or is wrapping up. South Florida Dreaming. Oh, I would love to be there in February, but I don't think that's going to fit my schedule. And then, oh, let's go to Spain for Dream Olay in May. Anyone? Right? But all of Salesforce's official events are virtual through, well, the end of the year, but I have a feeling it's going to go a little bit longer. We encourage you all.
Really quick, Joy, sorry.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that the events link keeps 501ing?
Ooh, I did not notice that. Do you want to put that in the chat and we can check it out again? But
yeah, I wasn't sure if anybody had heard anything, but
Action item.
Interesting stuff. So we encourage everybody to stay engaged with us, but also to join a local Trailblazer group or a Trailblazer group of where you'd love to visit, because everything's virtual right now. Why not? But join a group that makes sense for you, or with people that you are interested in talking more to. Sign up for meeting invites, trailblazercommunitygroups.com, and then there's a Quip doc of virtual meetups, and I'm not sure if that has been squashed or not either, Squire.
I'll look while you talk.
Okay, doke. So we're going to move along to the next slide. We also want to make everyone aware of our global MVP office hours. In the US, we're first and third Friday. EMEA is the last Thursday of every month, and then Portuguese is the last Thursday of every month also. Our respective Twitter handles are on the screen, and I don't see Carlos. He was very active on Twitters yesterday, but not here with us right now. All right. But the important thing to know about Portuguese office hours is you don't have to speak Portuguese to participate, because Carlos will translate and Salesforce is global. So enjoy. If you've got a problem and our schedule doesn't work out, join Carlos and the Portuguese office hours and give it a whirl. All right. Next slide, we have welcome. First and third Friday. Our next call is January 8th. Okay. So we're not going to see anybody for a couple weeks, but January 8th. If you're going to post about what's going on our call today, we encourage you to use our favorite hashtags: Problem Solve Together, Community Learner, and MVPOH. The rules here are that everybody participates. Share your experience, your input, and recommendations and references. Obviously, if you're not talking, mute your screen, mute yourself, and ask questions by raising your hand in the chat, or unmute yourself and say, hey, I got a question. The chat will have a running log of who's coming up next. Squire and Dale are really good at keeping track of that. I'm not so good at keeping track of that. But do announce yourself and introduce yourself and give us a quick, Heidi ho, and say who you are. use the chat to post links that you think might be helpful to the situation at hand. And you can also share your screen. But it's really important that if you share your screen, you're sharing a DevOrg or a sandbox, and you're not exposing company data that you don't want recorded and shared on YouTube and the internet forever. So if you don't want to be recorded, you shouldn't be here. You have to say goodbye, and you can catch our recording later. So everyone that's on is consenting to being recorded. Thank you, Dale, for that reminder all the time. Next is MVPs. Oh, there's one. Jake and Barb there. Okay. So MVPs are, community nominated contributors. But here we are all MVPs because we all need your help, and we all run into problems that MVPs might not have the answer to. So we encourage everyone to share. And what do we have next? We've got stuff waiting for us.
We have stuff waiting for us before we get to the questions in the chat.
Whoa. So in the success group, which we would all encourage you to join, and in our direct email, we have some stuff going on. So Jen L, is she on? All right, hold on. Daniel's not on.
Daniel's on.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry.
Daniel, I've been chomping at the bit to get into this one, but yeah.
I was about to say, this really isn't that important.
Oh no, it is.
Okay. So this is Daniel. Okay, so is a Salesforce BA position title different?
Less than Salesforce admin,
equal to, less than, greater than Salesforce admin. How is it different? That's basically the question?
Sure. My illusion is that, or my perception is that it is less than, and it's kind of a way for companies to get a cheaper Salesforce admin.
Ooh.
So not
fired.
Before we go down this road, there are Trailhead badges that explain these, explain the differences between a BA and an admin. However, there are plenty of BAs that do admin work, and there's plenty of admins who do BA work. So they're different skill sets. I don't necessarily think one is better or less than the other. I do think they are very reliant upon each other. So whether you are a solo admin or you have a team, the BA and the admin are working together, a right hand and a left hand. And the dominant hand is going to be the greater position, not necessarily the admin or the BA. That's me, and I'm done.
Absolutely, 100% agree. It varies by company. It varies by whether you are a Salesforce customer versus a consultant. An admin and a BA is apples and oranges, in my opinion. What makes them common is they're both pieces of fruit. They both touch the setup. They know the configuration. They do some of the configuration. Obviously, an admin's going to do more configuration, but you could go to 10 different companies and get 10 different answers of why a BA and an admin is completely different. A lot of it honestly goes back to where they are in terms of traditional IT versus more modern IT. I mean, I would throw that in as another pillar of the conversation. What I can speak to as a business analyst in a consulting company is, as a BA, I'm the one listening to the business. I am hearing their needs. We're not necessarily talking tech. In many engagements, we do have to talk tech because they're walking me through a current process and identifying pain points, but we're largely speaking business from my right side of my brain to then swivel over to the left side of the brain and work with my tech team to say, all right, what are we going to build? And developers are going to do the coding, but as a BA, and this is common in many consulting organizations and even customer companies as well, the BA is doing configuration as well, because they are so close to the business requirements that it minimizes the number of hands on it. It minimizes that lost in translation component. It's any number of things. I would say even the most pure of admins, the beautiful part that Salesforce set up as a technology platform is you don't have to have any IT experience, which means you don't have any of that past any potentially negative experience of trying to fit in a box. You are able to think more like a business person who's just saying, look, I have problems to solve. So I know there was a lot of verbal vomit there, but I would say neither is greater or less than the other. They are two completely different things, but to Joy's point, they are absolutely complementary. And I would not place any more or less value on either.
I'd like to also add one, because I agree with you 100%. I think the tricky part, maybe we should probably rephrase this question for anyone who's looking at the slide. It's not about, is a BA less than an admin? What we're really talking about is the title defined around a person who has a skill set different, right? Because we can take that to another step and say, is an admin less than a dev? Is a dev less than an architect? That title doesn't mean anything. You have to have a skill set that makes you good at your role, which is business analysis, project management, programmatic development, enterprise architecture, whatever those things are. I think the title is misleading. And I think, Daniel, what you're saying is, do I think companies slip you're just a BA on an admin skill set or vice versa to try to kind of beat the system? Probably. But I think it's really important that we, don't lose track that it's really the skill set, because when you talk about a solo admin, they're a BA and a PM and a developer and an evangelist and you might have strong skills in one while wearing one hat and weaker in the other, but it doesn't mean you're any less or more of a thing. So
yeah, job titles are definitely becoming more of an archaic HR problem to figure out. And it's empowering more and more people to say, this is what I can do. This is what I can excel at. If I am proving my value to you, you will figure out where I fit in there. And I will help you figure out where I fit in there. We'll figure out the job title later. Unfortunately, when you're applying for jobs and going through that interview process, you're still kind of stuck in the rubric of business analyst must do A, B, and C. Admin does D, E, and F. No, that's not the new modern world. It's unfortunately traditional HR models.
I'd have to agree with that. I have some weird title at my company. To me, it's a text field in the HR tool. It doesn't really describe what I do as a role. I might add in, if you're an admin and you've got the BA skills, then you're well worth more than either of those individually. I mean, it's a very rich combination to be. And I think if somebody's looking for a position out there and they may be currently an admin, if you skill up on your BA skills and you can share that as you're interviewing with somebody, I think that combination is gold.
Mm-hmm. Very
You
well
don't
said.
find every admin having the ability to communicate with the business and understand and be able to ask that question of why do they want a multi-select pick list? What is it you're actually trying to get to? Not do you need a pick list? And understanding the business, understanding how their processes work, all of that. Soft skill side of the house, along with the admin skills.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I posted a link to the badge that compares these two things, and you all can take a look at your leisure. It's a quick badge. It'll take you about 15 minutes tops. The estimate is 10, by the way. So do we get everything? Dan, you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Feel
Thanks.
better? Okay. I think the reason that we're all so passionate about it is because we've all been like, in some way, we've been pigeonholed one way or the other, or we've been forced into one or the other, or, that's where that accident admin stuff happens. Who's up next, Squire?
that would be Mike.
Yep.
All right, Mike, is this the flow?
This is the flow.
Let's talk about the flow.
So the use case is when the opportunity closes, the business wants information and the amount of information is getting kind of unwieldy. So certainly validation rules would get me there, but then the page gets cluttered. So I'm trying to think that through, and I can create a screen flow that will, walk you through the decision tree, present the screens that says, answer these questions. You don't get those questions. I can do that. And I've done that. It works. It's that whole concept of a screen flow requires a button to launch it. And I really would prefer to have an auto launch flow that would present these questions and fields to, answer the questions. And I thought in auto launch flow, I can go through the route of, I say that I can, an invocable method, and then do a screen redirect, a page redirect. I haven't done it, but it occurred to me if I went down that route and had a page redirect, could I get back to the flow? I mean, once I go into the Apex thing, can I get back? Is there another way to get where I want to go?
Could you re-summarize the intended outcome?
Sure. Opportunity is closed one, and the business has today 8 bits of information they want. Whenever opportunity is closed one,
They want to collect or want to be notified of?
want to collect. Thank you. Want to collect. And validation rules can do it, but it just, in my mind, it gets messy. So I was trying to find a little more user-friendly way to get the information.
And when you say messy, why do you feel that's messy?
One of the reasons is with that process, the user is bounced back to the edit screen. It's got to scroll up and down and find those fields, and I just think there might be a better way.
Do you use Path?
Pardon?
Do you use Path?
Not so much. We have it. It's active. Our sales team has 2 stages, open and closed one.
I have lots of questions, but I think everybody else has better options. So,
Yeah, and I'm going to go back to the point, what we just talked about with being a BA. I would probably take these questions backwards and go back to the beginning of how did we get here versus how do we fix it.
So
Yeah.
I can't help you with the flow, but you could, if you gave them a closed one button that launched it instead of them being able to edit it on the screen, is that where you're at right now?
Yes.
And then does it open like its own like squeeze, like tiny modal with just those 8 pieces of data?
Well, it will open up a tiny window with one question. And when they answer that one, they get the next window and the next question and the next window and the next question. It's, sort of elegant in its own way.
couldn't you just use a record update action that just opens up a page layout that says fill in these 8 fields before you can complete the save? That's not even a flow. That's just an action.
I will try that, Square. Thank you.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I feel like somebody was talking about that a couple of weeks ago, where they were using it to kind of trick a really busy page layout into help them collect data. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, you can do that record update, that record action update there. My biggest question is, do you need to make it, are you requiring this information to be valid before you save or close one, or can it be updated after the fact, or what's the procedure there?
Yeah, before or after save is not mission critical one way or the other to me.
But why validation rules and not required fields on the page layout?
Yeah.
Again, it can be that I get fussy, that I want to simplify the user experience and present only the information they need to look at.
Well, and that's where marking fields as required on the page layout actually helps that cause, because it's explicitly right up front with a red bar.
Yeah.
That says this field is required, versus you only filled out 19 of the 20 fields. What hit the save button and it crapped out.
Yeah.
But if there's other conditions that don't allow you to have required, then that's obviously a reason to not have required.
Does required assume that you know the answers before you close, though?
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't put a close date in until it's closed, but if it's a required field, then you're stuck, right?
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
well, and I'm guessing also when you say sales, you're on opportunities.
Yeah.
Which don't have dynamic pages yet.
Yeah,
Like that would be your ultimate win right there, is dynamic pages.
exactly.
But you can still have dynamic components.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
They
screen flow.
break up your page fields.
Yeah, I mean that screen flow. You could also put that flow as just as a flow within your on your page layout and just dynamically show it on that closed one stage when they hit save, and they get prompted on that screen with that final update. They'll see the flow available then. I personally think your button is probably your best option at this point, without going back and rehashing everything else that's going on. That seems like that's the most enforceable way of doing things.
Well, and also just to get incredibly technical with your question, no, you cannot auto launch a screen flow. That's
Yeah.
they baked that in there that no, you can't. And Salesforce is also smart enough when you try to do that to say no, no.
Okay, perfect. Thanks again. Thanks, gang. I appreciate your time, and I'll go plug in some of those answers and see what I get.
Yeah, and happy to help in
That
any
you
way
can
we
do
can.
things in more than one way, right?
Yep.
Excellent. So, did Jen drop in at all?
I haven't seen her yet, so I moved her to the back end of the list. So
Perfect.
Brittany's
Brittany.
Brittany, what do you got for us?
Okay, hopefully these are easy yes no questions.
That's not our style, you know that.
First question is, can an admin fully reset the navigation bar for all of the users when it changes to the order of the tabs or add new tabs?
Now, when you yes,
The sale, like the app?
Yes.
yes, because when you're creating the app, maybe this is a classic only, maybe not Lightning. There, when you at least create the app, there's a checkbox way down at the bottom of the setup screen that asks, do you want to allow users to customize?
What if it's an existing app where users can customize?
I believe you can uncheck that. I'm logging into my
Oh, you
dev
have to
org
uncheck a box and then save or something?
on the app.
Is
Yeah.
there an option to, when you go to save the changes, do you want to overwrite any customizations that have been made by people?
That's what I was thinking, but is that related lists or is that tabs too?
That's
That's
tabs.
tabs
Tabs on
in
the
an
app.
app.
Yeah. Because I know it's on related lists. You can update that one as well, but that was classic only. Is it also available in Lightning?
I think if you change it in Lightning, it changes it across the board. On a related list, the field order, you mean?
So then the follow-on question is, because we've dealt with this at Baird, is that only works if you make the change in prod. I don't think it deploys that setting.
I think I agree with you on that one.
Okay.
You could go like do that, right? Like do the change set and then go into prod and make some tiny small change there and back to get that setting to cross over perhaps.
Yeah, you'd have to. Good call, right? Deploy the changes, but then do the refresh only in prod versus all the setup in prod.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
To stick by best practices, like don't configure in prod. But if sometimes you just you got to do one or two things, right?
So
Like-
I'm looking at an app in my dev org in Lightning, and it doesn't have the customized checkbox. I'm gonna flip this back to Classic and see what it does.
I think there's an option in there somewhere. It might be in a different place on the app manager.
Because why would we make it a consistent experience across platforms? You knew I had to say something like that at some point, right?
It was coming. We knew it was coming. This is
I was-
craziness. I have too many windows open. I cannot function.
I can't view my Lightning apps in Classic.
That's good stuff. It's good stuff. So we feel like you should be able to do it, but this could have been one of those effective things. What are we talking about? What was that effect? That person that was in the movie that we swear was in a movie that had a movie?
Sinbad.
Shazam.
The Mandela effect.
That one. Shazam.
Shazam, yeah.
You can do it. Is I'm on like
Is
the
that an org
section-
setting?
maybe it might have.
The prevent custom tabs? Is that I don't know if it's app setting, it might be org setting.
Yeah, so I'm looking at in Classic right now, and I do have a checkbox on an app that says overwrite users' personal custom app customizations, and you can toggle that, but I don't have it in Lightning, in the Lightning App Manager. So
Interesting.
it may be in a different place in Lightning, but it's not in the same place as it is in Classic.
But Jake, your question, like the overall global setting is in preferences, right? Or in not preference. What's that called?
I forget what it's called. I very rarely go.
Same place that you like reset the cache setting in your sandbox and whatever that one is called. But that's the one that says, can you or can't you overwrite everything? But then Lightning put a twist on it. So
I love that we're all literally like poking around in our dev orgs right now
Yeah.
just to find this. We're like, we swear it's there.
Mhm.
Right?
I'll tell you what, Brittany, why don't we come back to that while the whole world's researching? What else did you have?
Yes, okay, second question. So this is a Lightning for Outlook connector question. I don't know if y'all are super experienced with it, but basically when I launched the Lightning for Outlook connector, the reps want to be able to select which task list view they can see. They look very standard in the connector, like it's just my overdue tasks, like my tasks today. It's like what you would see on the homepage. I can customize this. So I can share my screen if y'all need a picture.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then I can't share while someone else is.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, perfect. So here's the connector under tasks. They want to be able to see their custom views here, their custom list views. There's only these.
I am under the impression that isn't that the same list that's on the homepage component.
Exactly.
So, and I think that is locked down. You'd have to have a Lightning component. Anybody have to deal with that? I'm kind of looking at every time I say stuff like that, and I stare right at Jake because he's usually solving these problems daily.
Sorry, I got lost in the previous question. What was
Have you ever been able to override the standard filter list on the task component on the homepage? And if so, did it have to be with a Lightning component or a Visualforce component? Because I know that's not editable on the homepage, and I think it's the same component.
I think whenever we wanted to customize that, we just went custom.
Yeah.
Okay,
It.
that was good enough. Thank you.
Yeah, the Lightning. So what we've done usually, and maybe this is what you've done too, Jake, is not from the Lightning connector, but if we need a different homepage component of our lists, it's usually either a list view that just filters appropriately for my tasks with certain filters built into it, and it just shows them everything that's open, or a Lightning component that does it special, but that's not a great answer.
Thank you.
Fine when you have that code on standby. So
Circle back to the first question. Did anybody find a better answer for Brittany?
I only found that setting for the Classic apps that were available in Classic, not for the Lightning apps, but there is a setting under app options for setup and personalization, which can disable the end user personalization of nav items in this app, and disable temporary tabs for items outside of this app. Checkboxes that you can you can deploy, and I wonder if I don't know what that will do to your user's experience.
Maybe
guess-
you turn it off, it resets it, turn it back on so they can play with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that what you were going to say, Dale? Sorry.
No, I was going to ask, I guess, why the enforcement of this?
Because the managers want to standardize the order of the tabs, so that way it's kind of like front of site, front of mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you-
Why? So
Yeah.
and
peer training.
okay. Fair enough.
I've seen, savvy users do all sorts of customization to their tabs. And then when the newbie like moves into the desk next door, obviously not happening this time of year, but, and then they're like, oh, how'd you do that? And they're like, whoa, I don't have that on mine. I don't have that on mine. How come I don't have that? And then an admin goes to help and they're like, what are you talking about?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And then super users like, oh, I did this, and it took me 3 hours to do it, but here we are. And I'm like,
Is there any kind of standardized documentation or training manuals today, though, that you as the admin, as the source of truth of how the org was configured, could potentially generate because humans are humans. If they figure out a way to make it their own, they're gonna, and there's no way you can even begin to be expected to wrangle that in, especially if there isn't a system setting that allows you to do that. Is there any kind of documentation that you have or can put together that says this app was configured with accounts, contacts, opportunities, leads in this order because, and say, here you go, here's your training manual?
Oh yeah, we're kind of like doing a fresh start initiative where we just want to set first the right way. And then if they want to rearrange things around from there, that's their choice.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mhm.
Maybe the best way to do that would be, oh, we just realized, we just talked about this, that we can't clone the app, can you? Or you can't clone the standard app? Right, so you could clone your app and assign that app to everyone as
And
the
lock
new
it
version,
down.
even though they don't know any difference. And then in theory, everybody goes from app A to app B. They don't realize it's not exactly the same except all the tabs reorder, and then you can start again, maybe something like that.
I don't even know that you'd have to clone it though, because if you as the admin,
Sorry.
Do what? Well, no, what I'm saying is, like, if you set the app to be these tabs, you don't even have to clone that. You just say, this is the app that has been assigned to you, even if it's the standard one. It's then the users who are customizing their own order. So if you have a fresh user and you say, okay, here you go, they're going to get that fresh experience. They're not going to get anybody else's customized experience.
And I
Yeah,
guess maybe I
concerned
put words in
about-
Brittany's mouth. I was just thinking if everybody needs to reset to square one, including
Oh, right.
maybe that's a workaround if the setting checkbox doesn't work. Sorry, Brittany, go ahead.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think,
Well,
hi, this is Ernesto. I think you should try in your sandbox. And if the app is a Lightning, there is a disable end user personalization on app items in the app. I think when you click that, uncheck it really. It just makes it to everyone to whatever you set it to in the navigation items. When you select your tabs to show in the order, I
Yeah.
think automatically will refresh for them.
Does it you think it wipes it? So that'll be a
I-
test to try in a
I
sandbox.
think so. I think you should
Yes.
test that.
I just tried it and it does.
Yeah. That's all you have to do is just a checkbox.
Check the
Which-
checkboxes in
wait,
your
which
app.
checkbox again?
So
Yeah,
if it's a
no.
light,
Have it. Hold on. Do you have it up, Barb?
yeah,
Go
right
ahead.
there. That one. Disable end user personalization of nav items.
Yep.
If you check those and you click on save, it resets it back to the standard navigation.
Which is in the navigation items of the tab on the left,
Mhm.
the second from the bottom.
But
Yeah.
then does that permanently disable the ability to customize until
The-
you uncheck that box?
Yes.
Right, but then you have to check that box again, uncheck it, and then they will be able to customize it if you want to. But it will start from the beginning, I think.
Okay. Well, so then again, putting my BA hat back on.
Actually,
there.
I wonder
Um,
if they'll save the changes or not, to be honest. Because a lot of that stuff's stored in their cache. So if they don't clear their cache, they may get their previous settings that they had.
But the
before.
cache eventually will clear up.
Yeah, eventually. But if you're hoping for that change to happen within those clicks, you may not get that change to happen within those clicks. So you may have to put additional stuff on the end user to clear their cache. Sorry.
That
So,
could be just a message.
Thank you.
so Brittany, I'm going to ask a follow-up going back to the original BA versus admin type of thing. I'm going to bring it full circle. Why are your users customizing apps? Are they potentially not asking for needed enhancements to the baseline of those apps?
They don't like switching apps?
The main concern was that we had an old app in there called Keizo that no longer works. So I think that like when they moved that tab around, then when we did uninstalled that app, it just stayed there. It was weird.
Because like I'm wondering, is it what's the issue? Is that we need to reset everybody's tab order, or is it that the user experience needs to be revisited?
Reset everyone's tab order so that way they can have a consistent user experience that's aligned with the conversion and retention goals. That's the idea.
Well, right, but is that vision accurately aligned with somewhere in there's the balance of what's the vision versus what's the experience?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure, but because it's not always, the answer isn't always re-modify the user's behavior. Sometimes, as much as we don't want to give the humans credit, the humans may be onto something and they don't know how to ask to fix it. So I just want to make sure there wasn't something there.
So, on a side note, I totally agree with you, Dale. But on a side note, like I've had users ask for, they want a dashboard on a specific tab, and then the dashboard gets renamed, and they're like, "Why didn't this tab name rename to match the dashboard?" It's because the tab title isn't the dashboard title. It just, that's how it sets up. But that's not, it's not, they're not necessarily tied together. So it sounds like you uninstalled an app and the tab just kind of hung out.
Well, and uninstalling the app isn't going to make the tab go away. It's the removal of the, either get rid of the tab, and if it's a managed package, you can't, or the removal of the object, which then takes the tab with it.
Oh, okay.
Or take away the access to the tab and the object.
Yep. Or turn it off on the back end.
Good
Whew.
stuff.
All right, where are we at, Squire?
We are on to Pete, I believe.
Yes, thanks everyone, appreciate it. I'll do the screen share if I can. Yeah. So two things, both should be pretty simple. So I am, that's not my screen, is it?
Should be pretty simple.
Yeah, all right, let me, I got the wrong one up.
I love it. Should be pretty simple.
Yeah, it's a screen share that's messing me up. I'll have to drag it over. So I'm trying to, oh man. Within the environment, I have the person account that has the alternate phone number. And in a related tab right here, which I have open already, I don't have the alternate phone number. I already put a formula on there, so it'll copy automatically. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
Hold
Sorry.
on, Pete, right now we see a screen of account at risk phone numbers.
oh, okay, good. Then that, I actually drag it back.
Yeah, I mean, you're showing the data loader page, right? So there we go. Perfect.
Okay.
Oh.
So I have a person account with an alternate phone number. And I have a related tab that has that same field that doesn't have it. All right, so I already put a formula in there that will copy it, but I'm trying to do a bulk upload of it. I'm trying to extract out of the wherever, I'm trying to extract all the records, the at-risk records that don't have it, and use I have a matching field here. So I'm going to try to extract find all the records that don't have the alternate phone number populated in the related record, and then get it from the account and then populate it back into the blank field. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So the two questions are with data loader, I can extract it. So I'm trying to extract these I can extract the at-risk records. And I want to say, give me this is the matching code field, but give me all records that don't have this field blank, right? Am I using blank or am I using null?
That don't have them blank or do?
I want the ones that are blank. I want to pull them out
Gotcha.
that are blank.
So unless somebody spaced anything out, you should just be able to leave that the way it is, and it'll insert equals tick tick for null.
Okay, so I don't, just like that, that'll give me the.
Yep.
It should.
You need
that-
IDs.
Yeah, that's only going to give you the account ADT monitoring number custom
Yeah.
field. It's not
Yeah.
going to give you all of
You
the
need
fields.
IDs to match
Record
them.
ID.
Right, good.
Yeah.
But I guess, is the question, how do you query for blank? Or is I mean, because there's probably lots more to this query, right?
Yeah, there is. So, but at first I want to get these records that don't have one, because then I'm going to go back into the account record and find the phone number, and then, so I want to kind of pull it from the account record and then put it into the at-risk record.
Mind if I ask how many records you think you're gonna pull? Like, do you have
A
an
lot.
estimate?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with formulas or maybe good at Googling about formulas? Because your formula field that pulls the related value in, you should be able to put an if statement in there and say, if it's blank, then you'll pull the value from the related account. Otherwise, you'll pull it from the related whatever record.
Yeah.
Not in
Yeah,
data
maybe.
loader, in your actual formula. Is that field, can you make that field a formula field? Is that what that is, you're saying?
This is just data loader, right?
I was talking about the field,
Oh.
the phone field that you have on the
Okay,
page.
so on the page, so skip the whole data loader
No,
process.
if it creates a formula field, the user won't be able to
Gotta edit
populate
it.
the phone numbers.
Right.
That's what I was
Create a new
asking. Is it just a field that they wanted to put on the page, or is it something that you edit?
I would imagine they edit it when they create the record. They probably enter that from the lead. I've already got it, so it'll fix it going forward. I'm just trying to find all the batch ones that like, here's an example. It doesn't have it. So give me all these records that don't have it. I'm going to take out the matching ID, go to these, and match, use that as the matching number, and then grab this alternate phone number. Once I have them out, I can just so give me the blanks from the at risk, find the matching account record, and give me that phone number, alternate phone number, and then once I have them out from here, I'll put them back in.
Sorry, Pete, I didn't hear your response. You said a lot. How many is a lot?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to, I guess I'd have to run a report to say, get how many account at-risk records. I could probably run a report pretty quickly.
I asked because you might be able to do this in one report to give you both the output and the input in a single report without having to use data loader to do multiple extracts.
Right.
Okay. I see.
But if
what you're
it's like a million records, that's not going to work. But if we're talking like a couple thousand, that's easy lifting for the report. And then you get both the at-risk rec ID and field, and you get the parent account ID and field in one output, and just push it right back in, and you'd be done.
Okay, so basically run a report.
It's a thought. I mean, just trying to save you some time as far as the
Yeah.
query builder, because the report will do it too, but only if you can export the number of records.
I was also going to ask, I don't know if we're going too far here to get into Dev Console to run that query to get a count and then just use that same query in data loader.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quick question for you, Pete.
Yeah.
How are you doing this going forth right now? You said you have it fixed going forth. How are you?
Yeah, I just did a formula to auto-populate from that field.
But what triggers that?
I did a process builder.
So my question here is, if you already have automation for it, is there a way you can do a mass update just to trigger your automation to run?
I don't know. That's above my skill grade so far.
I like where your head's at, Jake. Of course, it depends if the process is written on create or update. Look where your head's at.
So the one thing I would mention about that though is that like eventually they will all populate and you can really just keep track of it as a countdown if it's on edit, right? If it's on create, like Squire was saying, then you need to like do the manual run through. I had a similar situation about adding opportunity teams to opportunities. And then they're like, oh, well, we need someone else on the opportunity team. Well, fine. They will be updated eventually as the opportunities are updated. And that was okay for that client. And so alternative phone is not blank. So
yeah, so here's the process builder. It's pretty simple, right? When you edit or create a record.
yep, they should eventually all populate.
They will, but I guess it's right when the sales rep or the collections rep is making that phone call. I guess they'd have to, go through this process every
And
time.
press save, and then this one should be done.
Right.
So like Jake said, I would take a look at how many, or Squire said how many you have that are outstanding, and kind of weigh your options. If it's less than 20, You got to think about the time you're spending.
Oh, yeah, right.
Everyone's got their magic number for data loader stuff. You know, for depending on the complexity of things, you can go from there. You could also instruct your team that, like, if this phone number is missing, you know, you can edit and save, and it'll populate for you. That's
Okay. All right. So I'll run the report, get that. And if I need data loader, I don't have to pull, I can just physically leave it blank if I wanted to go that route.
I think you could actually export your report results. If the way
Right.
Squire was describing it, you have the IDs that you need and the values you need, and then use that CSV file to populate those that are blank.
Okay.
You just run a data loader update.
The only thing I would caution with using a report is, are you going to be modifying the same records that you exported, or are you going to be doing any kind of matching from another data set? Because the reason I ask is, with a report, you're getting the 15-character case sensitive ID on the export. Excel and Access don't respect case sensitivity.
There's a formula for that you can do in Excel to convert your 15-digit to the 18-digit case insensitive.
Well, or data loader just exports the 18.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering, though, is if you're matching up against the data set, because a formula, I love all the formula advocates out there, but that's a lot of tech debt, and the case safe ID function eats up half your compiler size. So that's my last option. But if you're not having to match against another data set and you're just saying, give me all these records, make these updates, reinsert back in, then you're good to go, because you're not touching the ID. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Okay, let me just, I don't want to take up too much of everyone else's time. The other one is, I have a formula in here. I didn't create it. So, and the developer who created it is too busy to get to it. The user needs a modification to the formula. In addition to, there's a typo here, so I don't think that that's working. The problem is, when I go to edit it, and I make any type of modification, it surpasses the, so I just go like this, fix that little typo and save it. I get a,
oh
Yeah.
man.
it's 5,028 characters against a 5,000 character limit.
Yep.
And so I don't know how he got it through the first time, but
There's one of those other fields in there has must have changed
Yeah.
since
Is
this
this
was
formula
created.
referencing? Yeah. Is it referencing another formula field?
Yeah.
Up at the top, I think it said something. I didn't catch it.
I think the way to fix this would be, and I think it's probably valuable anyway, is all those text ADT beacon calculations should probably be its own field that's just figuring that out for you behind the scenes. So you can just concatenate 3 values into one string rather
okay.
than have it do all the work.
That's the question is, how do he's too busy to get to it. And he said, just have her work around it some other way.
Yeah.
And I said, let me see if I can fix it. So you're saying take all these and try to merge them into one?
Yeah, like have one field that does that and gives you your output. So you've got one that gives you your A's through F's based on the beacon value. And then I'm just suggesting, maybe you've got one for the monitoring plan recalculation, something like that. And then you put it all together, or even better, you could use a custom metadata table and just reference the value in the metadata table with a single statement that just says, what's my beacon? Bring back D, plug it in and go.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh man, so that's your homework. Over holidays, there's a trailhead on custom metadata types. It will save you infinite effort over the course of your career.
Okay. So what,
Hey, I have an observation. Those last two, the fourth and fifth lines from the bottom, I wanted to say, could we make that so that it says remote or traditional equals this, to get rid of all that text in front of that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So do like a remote or traditional as one line instead of 2 lines.
Right, because they're all using the same formula, right?
Yeah,
Right.
all 3 of those are, aren't they?
Because here's the thing, like,
Because that would get rid of like 25 or 30 characters right there, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
because the issue is you're seeing the red light up at the top that says you're over your characters, but you have the green light at the bottom that says your compiler size was only like 1,500. Salesforce calculates two different things. Your compiler size is well within limits. That's how hard the formula engine is having to work, so that everything Squire and John is saying, if you can figure out how to reduce the number of characters, you're going to get this back into tolerance of working. The formula engine's having no problem with it at all.
Mhm.
It's just way too verbose, like me.
All right.
Okay, so John, what you're saying is kind of just,
Yeah, my thinking was to say if that value is remote or traditional, then it's
Yeah.
-1, 0. And
yeah,
then
so-
all that characters below could be removed. Does
so
that
would
make
it be
sense?
like,
can-
am I writing it like that? Remote?
Go ahead, Joy.
So we're in production.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I am going to say this really loud. Just let's maybe make this attempted change in a sandbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good point.
Because if this doesn't work, getting back to what you had is
Yeah.
going to be
Yep, I
very,
agree.
very challenging. So
Yeah, I
cancel.
think when I was working on it once before, I copied it and then put it in a notepad and then was working on it in case I had to go back. But you're right, I am production. So let me, I won't save
I'm,
it
I'm having an
No,
attack.
because I've done some
Salesforce
of
does
those
not
things.
know the
before and then
concept
I
of
get yelled
Control
at.
T.
So just to, John, just would I write it like this? Would I write, keep this and then do the or and then traditional in parentheses?
That part I'm not very good at. I don't know if it's the or the double bars, right? That's another one I think that you can use, but that's in your trailhead. That'll give you that.
Okay.
But I think that will give you enough characters to get your formula good.
Okay, I'm gonna try and, so I'll try to merge these three things into one because they all seem to have the same.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And then
And
we'll
you're welcome.
expect an
I hope-
update on, we'll expect an update on custom metadata types in 2 weeks.
You got it.
All right.
Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it.
Yikes.
I
Merry
think,
for Christmas, everybody.
Where's my,
I think we've got Marty and Jen did join late, so we've got 2 more if we've got time.
And I can stay on. I've got time.
Woo.
Woo!
Yeah. Did you guys see Taco? He came in.
No,
You'll have to watch the video. Have to watch the recording, Dale.
I hope I hit record. Yeah. No.
Marty, do you want to start?
Hi, thanks. This I think is a quick question. Someone is looking to have probably an app exchange where they can define the fields that go on the calendar in the subject or, in the detail. So I found calendar anything as an app exchange option, which I think will do it. So the question is, A, does anyone have experience with calendar anything or any other app exchange option that will allow people to choose the fields that appear in the calendar listing? Question mark. Anybody, anything?
Okay, sorry. Say that again.
So in the calendar, they want to be able to choose the fields that show in the calendar listing as opposed to just the standard Salesforce, the subject is what appears. So there's an app exchange called Calendar Anything, which is quite robust, but not free and not totally inexpensive. So the question is, A, does anyone know if that will really do it? It appears it will based on the documentation I've seen, or any other option right now, question mark.
Anecdotally speaking, I've heard great things about Calendar Anything.
Yes, so have I.
You are definitely getting what you pay for. And as much as I love talking about investments versus costs, there's definitely a cost to that investment.
Yes.
So beyond that,
How the cost and the value are so equally tied.
Yes.
unfortunately, I mean,
Okay, very good. Thanks, everybody.
yeah,
Good luck, Marty.
Thanks. Happy holidays.
happy holidays.
Jen, are you still there? I saw you join late.
I'm here, yes, and I'm sorry I joined late, but can you guys hear me?
Yep.
We can.
Okay, share my screen. Hold on. I'm sharing my dashboard. Can you guys see my dashboard?
Yep.
So I have this dashboard and I have a built-in dashboard filters. So when I filter, and this is filtering on the, I created a custom field in the opportunity split called the team member role. So when I filter, let's say this one, so it'll filter the report, but it's not picking up everything that I would like it to pick up. And I couldn't figure out why. And what I did was that report, the base report, so this is what it looks like. I'm gonna export it and then show you this guy, Nate. Oh, sorry, no, let me see. No, I exported the wrong one. Supposed to be this one. So this one, he doesn't own the opportunity. So that's why I have it on the split, but he has a share on the amount. If you look at his total, it's missing the one that he doesn't own when I use from the filter on the dashboard. So when I edit it, so what I did, I looked at how it was filtering, if it's coming from the dashboard, and I export that report and it looks like this. So what I did is I went to the base report, ran it, and added that filter. So it looks exactly the same. So this one came from the dashboard. This one, the same report, I just added the filter beforehand. So you see it's right here, number 9. And that's number 9. Team member role contains risk management team. If you look at this report that I built beforehand, it's including the one that he doesn't own. So you see 3, oh no, it's not. Sorry. I ran it earlier and it was 359. It was missing 30,000.
So if I can paraphrase a little bit, so the filter on the dashboard isn't including a record that you are able to add by customizing the filter on the report?
Well, now it's not. I was so sure I had it working earlier.
Okay.
Before I joined, I couldn't figure out why it wasn't including it.
I guess my first question is, the filter on the dashboard has to be the field that's also a filter on the report, I think. Otherwise, you're not going to get
yeah.
filter, right?
There. And additionally, like the filters can't be added if like to components that don't have that filter or field option.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, so it's working. If I don't filter on that one, it's working for everyone else. It's just this guy, Nate. So if I don't use that filter, I go through here and I look at his numbers. And it's not including it. And I don't know why it's not including it. So I have it here. It's at 3859, but here he's at 3829.
So your filter on the left there, that where you're using contains the person's name. What field is that looking at?
I have a custom field. I had to create a custom field in the opportunity split object. That's a formula. And it's actually just the username, the split owner ID, or split owner name. Sorry.
Do we know? Are there any quirks at all in terms of differences between reports contains filter function and dashboards filter contains functions?
No, because the dashboard filter applies that to the report run. That's why you see it in that drop down.
Okay.
If you see here, this is the right number. It's 3.859.
Yep.
But here it's 3.829. And I know which opportunity it's missing. It's the one that he doesn't own, but he has a share on the split.
Report type's the same?
Yep.
Makes me think that business segment filter is not quite right.
Well, even if I do it on the name though,
What about the hierarchy
I
of the
feel
report?
like it's super
Um,
spotty.
y-
The report type is split opportunity. Report
rep-
type is also split opportunity.
The report hierarchy, right? Is it being run by the admin view?
Oh, like
Hold on.
it doesn't have.
Yeah, it should be all opportunities. So I'm not doing a report hierarchy.
Well, but even above that, like it could be all opportunities, but is it being run as the highest level rolled user?
Good call.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show us?
Where would I see that?
Well, and that's kind of why I made you say, "Can you show us?" Because you seem confident, but I wanted you need to.
Well,
you
yeah,
need to
because
do
it's
it.
all opportunities. If you pick a role, then that would show you. And it's right now, I think it's I'm not selecting anything here.
And the other one's the same way.
Yeah, check the other one.
Have you had a chance to look at, you say you know which record is missing,
Yep.
rolling in
Yeah.
there. Have you taken a look at that record itself to see what might be different on that record?
Yeah, he doesn't own it, but he's on the split.
Which,
But here's two reports with the same
Owner is
report
different.
types.
but the record is showing up on the report, which is the same report on the dashboard, right?
It's not the same report. It's two different reports, same report type.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very similar. So like this report, I'm only showing the one.
Gotcha.
This report, I'm showing both won and lost, and then I'm showing won, but I'm showing for both years. This report, I'm showing only this year.
Did you say that field that you're filtering on is a formula field to the owner of the split record?
Yeah.
So if he's not the owner of that split record, would you assume it would show up in that report?
Well, it's showing up on this one. So it's the same field, team member name.
Team member or owner?
Oh, wait, let me remove this one. Maybe that's why it's not showing up here. Hold on. Discard.
Is his role in
Refresh.
risk management the way it's filtered?
Sorry, let me refresh. Okay, so now it's not showing the same. Okay, let me export again. Export again.
I'm sorry, you answered earlier. It is the exact same report type.
Mm-hmm.
Do the two reports have the same cross filters of with or without splits?
So it's team member name, Nate?
What? No, I'm
Sorry.
talking about
It's
the actual report, like structure itself.
Mm-hmm.
Cross filtering is
It's all-
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you go look at the actual split record that's missing? And compare what that information is on that record to one that's included?
So it's
Put them side by side, it should be pretty obvious.
this one.
This-
Maybe there's another one that's very similar that's included. Let's see. I think he might have another one that's, sorry, let me open the account. Sorry, I'm looking at, okay, he has the loss control. So this one is showing he owns it. So it's this one because he doesn't own it, but he's on the split.
So that business segment is carrier. All of your other ones have been risk management.
Correct, but I'm not filtering it on that one. I'm filtering it on his name,
The other
team
report,
member name. The other report is the same. I'm filtering it on team member name.
because you have a number of filters that are looking for that risk management. Owner
No,
role
it's
search with
double,
risk
double.
number
Why
7.
it's going double, double. Yeah, so that one, I'm doing a 3 or a 7. So that one was owned by Neil, so it should get included. It's a 3 or a 7. So it's either owned by these people or its role is risk management.
Can you
I think
scroll
I
up?
have that
Okay,
same
okay,
filter
hold on.
here. So we have role and then user. I have
Hold
a
on.
6 or 7 here.
3 and 6 or 7. And 8.
And the filter field again is which field on the
Team
dashboard?
member name. Team
No,
member name.
the filter on the dashboard.
Yeah, it's this one. Team member name.
That's the that says producer up top on the dashboard.
Yes, that's the one.
Not the report, but the field.
Yeah, yeah. So this one is based on the team member name.
So that what field is that you're actually looking at? It's
This
not team
one.
member, not
Team
on your
member name.
not on your report filter. On the dashboard.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
This one is team member name.
So you just renamed it a little bit friendlier.
Yeah.
To
producer.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, okay, let's take a step back. Is this the first you've noticed this discrepancy?
So at first I was using opportunity owner. And when I do the filters, it wasn't working. So I'm like, okay, I need something. And you can't use user as a filter on your
Right.
dashboard. So it's very annoying, but you couldn't. So I'm like, okay, I tested it inside. I was like, what if I just create a formula? And I realized I could if I do a formula. And so that's what I did. I created the formula in opportunity split. And now I'm using it on the report, but it's just not consistent. Well, the first time I had the field and I switched out my filters, some of my reports were not working. So I had to rebuild all the reports and got it. And now it's not, it's weird.
Is there anything wrong with the split itself? It feels like the opportunity roll-ups are good, but it might be that split record that's causing the problem. It's not, doesn't have something weird in it, or there's not an assumption that he's been assigned the split, or
Is the split somehow being counted twice?
or something.
No, it's no. So like this one is the correct number.
Okay.
This one is including
Hold on.
that one.
Okay, I'm taking screenshots of your filters here because I think your problem might be in your filter logic, the ands and the ors across the two reports.
So side by side, you're going to look at the report
Or
logic.
maybe if I rebuild this report based on this, so then they're exactly the same.
When you're looking for things to line up like that, if you make the bigger report and then you narrow it down and save as you're to like say, okay, I only want this year or I only want last year. It's instead of building the report from scratch, that's best practice, I think.
Can I see the other report to get the filter logic? All right.
And I would suggest going back to the one missing record that you're talking about and taking a close look at the values on that record and how they fit in the filters, and then find another one that is being included and take a close look at that and see where there might be the discrepancy that's catching you. So that one record apparently has something that's not pulling it into that report. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's if it's only one record missing, that's not a whole lot of hunting.
Yeah, I
But,
go even as far as say, take the core report and try to add one filter that says, and the ID of the record I'm trying to pull you back is this. And if it doesn't come back, then you know that that record's not included in your base filters.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't.
Yeah, I
use
think
major
what
filters.
I'll do is I'll use this one because this is the correct. I'll just use this as my base and redo this whole report.
I mean, I think it would be valuable to know why it's not failing. I mean, it'll solve your problem, but maybe not solve in the long run. So, I mean, I feel like Barb's on the right track here. That like let's figure out why that one record isn't showing in what you expected to come out of this.
Jen, really quick, can you flip back over to the second report? I didn't catch what field number 10 was.
Oh, for some reason, it's showing up twice.
Is that because you're clicking from the dashboard that's filtered by Nate?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Same with 9. I mean, 9 and 10 are,
Both true.
yeah. And 9 and 10 and Nate. My screen's too small for this. I gotta get a bigger one.
Hold on. CQ new business. What? Okay, so talk to me about CQ new business to existing. What field is that? Because it's on one and not the other.
Calendar quarter.
Right. Well, but it's referenced as a field in one report's filter, but not the other.
Okay, good catch. That's a hidden field that I have. It might be that one.
So is that on the record?
Because then, okay, so and adding to it might be related to on the other report, you have a new / new to existing amount that greater than 0. The first one, the CQ new existing to existent, not equal to 0.
Yeah. Maybe that's the one. I don't want to save this one there. Okay.
Good sleuthing, Dale.
Your owner roles are also different. On one of them, you have owner role starts with U.S. risk management. Another one, you have owner role contains U.S. risk management or U.S. carrier or U.S. alternative.
Okay, I think that's what I'll do. I'll just use this one and redo this whole leaderboard report so they're exactly the same. Because the difference between the two really is that one is for this fiscal year, the other one is this and last fiscal year.
So you have that one that straddles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do this one and move this one.
So is the date of that one missing record something that would fit into the one date filter, not the other?
I don't think it's the dates. It's either the owner role or whatever's being calculated on those dollar amounts.
What current? I think that might be it, but let me just. Let me just change the year and then let's see. Sorry, I'm working like right in front of everyone.
I just noticed how quiet it was in my house, and I don't know where the dog is. So I'm really hoping that my husband has the dog somewhere.
Flip over to Instagram and find a story of Taco walks himself.
It was like, all of a sudden, though, I was like, it's really quiet, and he's not sleeping by my feet, and I don't know where he is. Oh, it'll be all right. It's just furniture, right?
Is there somebody else after me?
We are actually over, so you're
Oh.
the last of our
You're
day.
good. You're good. It's Friday afternoon. If you have any work on a Friday afternoon, you're doing it wrong.
I'm so sorry.
I just wish that, like, I just wish the bar cart was closer to my desk.
Yeah, I got to walk out of my office, down the hall, down the stairs, then go through another set of stairs to get to the basement to get to the beer fridge. I mean, it's a commute.
Our neighbors asked my daughter to visit, and she came back with a large grocery bag of alcohol, and I was like, what do we do to deserve that?
Okay, now it's 83859.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Excellent.
Woo.
Excellent.
Thank
Anyone else
you.
got anything?
I've got to.
Should I enable quick create?
Never.
Why not?
No.
Not.
No.
Okay, fair. The multi-pick lists.
No. Stop it.
Ooh.
Only
Evil.
if you're not going to report on it.
But I need to.
Nope, can't report on it. No.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
All right, last question. What's the text limit or the text length of a multi-select pick list field?
It's the sum of all of the length or the limit?
Yes.
It's the sum of all of the characters plus the number of values selected minus 1 represented in semicolons.
And is there an upper limit to that length?
11 billion.
Right? Is it effectively a long text field? That was the conversation we were just having before I joined this call. I'm just curious if anybody knows.
It's an insanely stupid long area text field.
All right, cool.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that was my answer. Is like, why do I care? Why are you using that?
Because we have to, because one business user had one use case for it and decided to torpedo the entire org for it.
And if you do use a multi-pick list, don't ever put it in a formula.
Or tell Steve Mo.
Correct.
Sorry.
I hope everyone has a great holiday.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we appreciate all of you. Happy holidays, happy new year. You keep saying it's okay to not be okay. We're here for you. It's a crazy year, crazy times. We're all here for each other.
Looking forward to 2021.
Yes.
I don't want to have, like, I don't want my hindsight to be 2020 ever.
Okay, can we just, all those forward-looking marketing emails this time last year. Look at your next year with clear vision. Yeah, no.
I'm feeling pretty foolish.
Nobody saw 2020 coming.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Ugh. I'm unsubscribing from everything now just so I don't have to see it.
But I have to wait till everything ships to unsubscribe.
No. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. We're wasting valuable film now.
We're